Hello everybody, we've got Ron and Kirsten here for this week's edition of Ask Ron. So our first question is from Andre Zanders in Russell, Iowa.
Hey, Andre.
He says, I just purchased that house 1 month ago, financed by the owner for $100 down and monthly payments of $189 for 30 years. I just found a buyer for the property for $5,000 over my price. My question is, in order to have my buyer pay the $189 directly to my seller, should I do an axe deal here? The axe deal has not yet been discussed with the seller. I know I can sell to my buyer on P&S agreement, but I would rather have my buyer pay my seller directly and take a $5,000 fee and forget it. Is it too late to approach my seller with an axe deal?
Well, it's never too late to approach your seller with an axe deal. I'm not real clear on what the deal was. I heard you say the words 100 down. I guess that means $100,000 down. I'm not sure. But the answer to your question is you can always approach the seller and change the deal. In fact, Scott does that here probably 50-60% of the time. Go get a contract with a seller, go see what the market we're going to bring us with a buyer, and then go back and change those rules with a buyer in hand instead of just a bird in the bush. Happens all the time.
All right, so our next question is from Victoria Cleaver in Hawaii.
Hey, Victoria.
To sum up everything, I have a charged of second mortgage for $236K, current first mortgage for $43K, and a Chapter 13 on hold that is about $4K a month, which I don't make. I'm staying in my home and I've been here for 26 years. Tried another RE program and couldn't get good customer service and I left it. But I didn't talk with a real estate company with that program and I still have access to their website of homes on the market. I did listen to the first three CDs in your 5 fastest and easiest ways program I received. I'm a mess and I just need a direction. So my question is, where should I start first just to start bringing down my stress level? What type of attorney do I need?
Well, gosh, to bring down your stress level, a cash flow would help that. Drugs help it too, but that's something you have to check with your doctor on. Honestly, you're going to have to get trained. And yes, everything we do does work in Hawaii, but if you're going to make any money on this thing, you need to consign yourself that you should get to the next quick start school that you can get to. It's a 4-day event where we teach people how to do what you are beginning to learn in the CDs that you got. Check our schedule. I think the next one we're going to do after Jacksonville here. Jacksonville's in December. February is Orlando. After that I don't remember, but easy to look on our schedule. For you to try to do the business without getting the training is going to be tough. Really, you're likely probably just going to make a mess. If you're going to do any kind of a deal without getting trained, it would be an axe deal. And so that's because you have no risk, you have no money invested, you have no credit invested. You find a property, assign it to a buyer who wants to give you $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to do it. That's the fastest way to make money in real estate today. But even then, I would not attempt to do that unless you've got my Control Without Ownership course, which is a 2-day seminar totally focused on axe. So with that said, get a little bit of training before you make a mess.
All right, so our next question is from Mark Milan in Califon, New Jersey.
Hey, Mark.
I have a verbal deal on a 2-family rental property. Seller doesn't want to be a landlord anymore or put any more money into the property. He is willing to lease option to me for the amount of his PITI and the ARV is $75K. Balance on the mortgage is $63K. Please note it is an ARM. Repairs needed are about $8K. Cash flow after mortgage and all OP expenses approximately $6,500 a year. I want to control it with axe lease option plus ability to rent it out for cash flow. I will then market it to the landlords or a tenant buyer who wants to rent the second apartment and assign my contract to the buyer.
Stop. I've heard enough. Mark, there's just one problem with the duplex. And look, you show me any kind of a real estate and I'll show you pros and cons of it. And duplexes are my least favorite type of real estate. Duplexes and quadruplexes. The argument is you get great cash flow out of them. Problem is they're a management nightmare because there is no rent to own. There is no thousands you can collect from your buyer. There is no huge market when you try to exit from them. And they're just a constant headache. If you're going to have anything to do with this duplex, I'd do it on an axe if I were you. I'd put it under contract and then I'd just assign the contract and be out of it. And if I didn't find the buyer, I'm out of it. Don't take on pain with such a small amount of gain. You say there's $6,500 worth of cash flow a year. I doubt it very seriously. The truth is, by the time the year is over and you count vacancies in there and all the other things that are not on that pretty sheet you're looking at most likely, there's not enough cash flow in this thing to really make it worthwhile. That would be my guess. Duplexes are just some of the toughest real estate to get involved with. So again, my suggestion is very simple. Flip it, get the check and forget about it, and go back to houses that are a lot easier and more profitable to deal with.
All right, so our next question is from Kyle Cook in Jackson, Mississippi.
Kyle. Good old Kyle.
Good old Kyle. He wants to know if we still use Marion for credit repair like we talk about in our Work for Equity course.
Marion's as good as any. Jay often talks about another source that he uses, and I can't remember the guy's name right now, but Marion's as good as any. He actually does a great job, and he's a swell guy to work with on top of that, and just gets the job done. So if you got his information, use him.
All right, and Kyle's last question is, I have a property that I'm making an offer on that has a reverse mortgage on it. The ARV is $130,000.
Yeah.
They're asking $120,000, and the reverse mortgage is $60,000. Do you have a problem with me taking the reverse mortgage out with a private loan and then giving the seller a second back for his equity that we agree on?
Yes, I do. There's no reason for you to go get a private loan just to pay off an underlying debt. Anytime you go get a private loan, you're getting a killer deal on it, Kyle. It means you're getting a lot of equity in it, even if the seller's going to subordinate. If you're not careful, you're just going to be creating a big mess with the financing, have it too close to being leveraged at full market or beyond, and I just don't like that. Again, private loan equals I'm stealing the house. If you're not stealing the house, don't go get a private loan on it. So just leave the reverse mortgage in place. I'm not worried about the reverse mortgage. The worst they can do is call it due. I mean, you got a whole bunch of solutions for that. You've been to the Quick Start School. I know you know that. If you don't, go back to the manual. So don't go get private money just to take out a reverse mortgage. I wouldn't do it, I can tell you that, especially when there's a seller second behind it. You're just making a mess.
Well, that's all of our questions for this week.
That's all?
That's it.
All right, guys, I'm going into business management here tomorrow. And I got to tell you, you better get down here to Florida in December. We got two great events. I got the Quick Start School coming up with the last ever party that I'm going to do at my house, and I mean it this time sincerely. I have strict orders, no more parties at the house. It's a lot of work. My wife is just not in love with the idea. She's in love with having the party. She just don't like the work that goes on to get it ready. That's all. House is going to be decorated up. It's going to look like Disney World out there. But this is the last time. And then following that is our seller financing, buying and selling with owner financing on the 12th through the 14th. Going to be a killer boot camp, one time only, and open up a whole lot of new worlds you've never heard of before, and I'm telling you, it's going to blow you away. And then on top of that, the 15th is our vacation rental all-day seminar put on by the Modis, and a lot of people are coming to see that as well because that's a whole new income opportunity that's really cool, built right in without ever having to buy a house or taking any risk as well. See, we do a lot of work around here to find you opportunities for you to make money without you taking any risk. You might want to take advantage of them because there is no place like this place anywhere near this place. In fact, you'll find there is no place like this place, period. So get on down here to Jacksonville, and hey, what better time to come to Florida than in December, especially if you live in the north, for crying out loud. Get out of that crappy weather. Come on down here. Perfect weather guaranteed. See you next week.